In the weeks following their great storm adventure, Pip and Grit became known throughout Linton Hollow as the twin elements, tiny heroes with big courage. Every miniature dragon water drifters, ember sparks, cloud whispers, even the shy mosslings wanted to meet them. Their names drifted through the meadows on breezes, echoed in stone crevices, and glimmered in reflections across Crystal Creek. But one place remained untouched, unvisited, and entirely unknown even to the elders of the miniature dragon clans: Moonfall Ridge. It rose beyond the stone hills like a silent silver crown. No leaf dragon ever flew there. No granite dragon ever climbed it. The ridge was shaded even in daylight, covered in soft gray dust that shimmered like starlight. Whispered legends claimed a powerful creature lived there, an ancient dragon as old as the sky. Most dismissed the story as a bedtime tale. But everything changed the night the moon turned silver blue. The strange light in the sky. One peaceful evening, Pip and Grit lay on their favorite warm rock, watching fireflies blink across the meadow. The air smelled like honeygrass, and the frogs sang their summer songs by the creek. "Do you ever wonder what lies beyond the stone hills?" Pip asked. Grit puffed out a slow breath. "I've always wondered, but the stone hills were as far as I ever went before I met you." Pip smiled. "And now," Grit rubbed his rocky chin, "we've seen almost everything, except—" A dazzling flash interrupted him. The moon, normally creamy white, glowed bright blue. Clouds pulled away from it as if pushed by invisible hands. The light spilled across Linton Hollow, cool and shimmering, making shadows look longer, deeper, almost alive. Pip's wings rustled nervously. "That's new." The ground trembled. Grit stepped in front of Pip instinctively. "Did you feel that?" Another tremor. Then a low, distant sound rumbled across the sky. Grrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr wasn't any creature from the meadow. No, Pip whispered. That came from the direction of Moonfall Ridge. The air grew colder, the moon shadow rumor. The next morning, miniature dragons from all corners of Linton Hollow gathered under the great maple. Their wings fluttered with worry. Their tiny claws tapped nervously on roots and stones. I saw a shadow bigger than any dragon last night, cried a crystal hatchling. I heard growling from the clouds, squeaked an ember spark. I swear something was crawling on the top of the ridge, said an old moss dragon. Its back brushed the stars. A hush fell over the crowd as Elder Fernroot, the oldest leaf dragon alive, stepped forward on a floating petal. Long ago, Fernroot said in a gentle but quavering voice, the Moonfall Ridge was home to a guardian, a dragon carved from starlight, moonstone, and ancient cosmic dust. The legends called him Umbrin the Moon Dragon. Gasps fluttered through the crowd. He was massive, Fernroot continued, larger than any creature on earth. His wings stretched like night itself, his scales reflected the moon. And though he was not cruel, he was stern, solitary, easily angered, and protective of the moon's light. Pip gulped. Protective of the moon? Yes, said Fernroot. Long ago he vanished, and now the moon glows as it did in the time of Umbrin. Grit looked at Pip. Pip looked at Grit. We should go, Pip whispered. Grit frowned. Go where? To the ridge. We have to see what's happening. Grit sighed. I knew you'd say that. Into the moonfall shadows. The path to Moonfall Ridge was unlike any Pip or Grit had ever traveled. The meadow's warm colors faded behind them. Grass thinned, stones grew colder. The air thickened with glistening silver mist. What is this stuff? Pip asked as tiny droplets clung to his leaf wings. Moon dew, Grit said quietly. I've heard rock dragons say it only appears where moonlight settles for years. They climbed higher and higher until the ground turned powder gray. Pip fluttered above Grit, his wings leaving faint trails of green against the pale dust. Then they heard it, a deep, slow, scraping sound. Skrrrrrrr. It traveled through the ground, vibrating the stones beneath Grit's feet. Pip landed beside his friend. "I don't like that sound," Grit swallowed. "Neither do I." They rounded a curve in the ridge and froze. There, half buried in moon dust, lay something enormous, a claw, shimmering like polished moonstone, each talon larger than Grit's whole body. Pip's voice shrank to a whisper. "He's real. Umbren the moon dragon." A colossal shadow shifted. Silver dust erupted into the air like fireworks, and rising from the ground with an earth-shaking rumble was Umbren, the moon dragon. He was massive, so massive that Pip and Grit felt like tiny ants. His wings were jagged and vast, reflecting stars even in daylight. His eyes glowed deep blue, swirling like galaxies. He was mean-looking not because he wished harm, but because everything about him was carved from fierce cosmic power. His ridges looked like sharp meteor rock. His horns twisted like ancient crescent moons. His expression, intense and stern, could silence storms. Umbren stared down at them. Little Pip, little Grit, two tiny dragons facing a creature the size of a mountain. "What are you?" Umbren's voice echoed like rolling thunder inside a cave. Pip squeaked, "We're, tiny." Grit nodded. "Very tiny," Umbren snorted. A blast of cool moon air nearly knocked them over. "You," Umbren growled, "should not be here." Grit stepped forward, trembling but brave. "We came to make sure everything is okay." The moon changed color, the ground shook, we got worried. Umbren's enormous eyes narrowed. "Worried about me?" Pip nodded hard. "Yes." Umbren blinked, then blinked again. No one had ever said that to him before. The moon dragon's trouble. Umbren lowered his massive head until his snout touched the ground inches from Pip and Grit. "For centuries," Umbren rumbled, "I slept beneath this ridge. But last night, something woke me." Pip tilted his head. "Something? Like what?" Umbren's tail, as long as a river, swished across the dust. "A disturbance, a shift in the moon's pull. And now the balance between moonlight and earthlight weakens." Grit's rocky brows knitted. "Is that bad?" Umbren's eyes flashed. "If the balance breaks, the moonlight may fall too strongly upon your lands. Your meadow could change. Plants may wilt beneath cold light. The rivers may turn sluggish. The night may overpower the day." Pip gasped. "We have to stop that," Umbren huffed. "We? You are but small flickers, tiny sparks in a vast night." Grit stepped forward. "Maybe we're small, but we're brave," Pip added. "And together we've handled storms, winds, and dangers." Umbren studied them. "Small, soft, fragile." Grit straightened. "Stone can be strong," Pip fluttered. "Leaves can bend and bounce back." Umbren lifted his head. "Very well. If you desire to help, follow." The tear in the sky. Umbren led them to the highest point of the ridge. From there the sky looked different, dimmer, stretched thin. A long glowing streak shimmered across the horizon like a pale ribbon. "What is that?" Pip whispered. "A moon tear," Umbren said. "A crack where moonlight escapes unevenly." Pip shuddered. "It looks scary." "It is not dangerous," Umbren said, "but it must be sealed, and I am weak from my long slumber." He turned his giant gaze toward them. "I cannot reach the tear from here, but small dragons can go where giants cannot." Grit blinked. "You want us to climb into the sky?" Umbren nodded. Pip's leaf wings trembled, but excitement flickered in his eyes. "We can do it." Grit swallowed a pebble of fear. Together, Umbren lowered his enormous wing like a ramp. Climb! Pip and Grit stepped onto the glowing moonstone scales. The surface felt cool, smooth, and pulsing with quiet lunar magic. Umbren flapped once. Just once. The wind that followed lifted Pip and Grit into the air like seeds caught in a breeze. They soared upward toward the moon tier, inside the moonlight. Up close, the moon tier looked like a shimmering curtain of glowing strands. Pip reached out and touched one. The world exploded in light. "Hold on!" Pip shouted as a vortex pulled them in. Grit dug his claws into Pip's tail. "Don't let go!" They were swallowed by soft, swirling moonlight, not hot or burning, but cool and gentle like cloud-wrapped stars. Inside, they saw visions echoes of Umbren soaring through moonlit skies long ago, guiding tides, keeping nights calm, watching over the rhythm of Earth. His job had been important, lonely, and endless. Pip felt a tug in his chest. No wonder he looked so tired. Grit nodded. And no wonder he's grumpy. At the center of the moon tier was a glowing moonstone seed. "That must be the source," Pip cried. Grit reached out and the whole sky shook. The moonstone flickered dangerously. "Quick, we have to place it back into balance," Pip shouted. Grit pushed with all his might. Pip fluttered beside him, guiding their direction, weaving his leaf magic into the moonlight to steady it. Together, leaf and stone, they nudged the moonstone seed back into its place. A soft chime echoed. Then another, then flash. The tier sealed. The light faded, the sky steadied, and Pip and Grit drifted gently downward like falling feathers. The moon dragon's thanks. Umbren awaited them on the ridge, his eyes brighter and calmer. "You did it," he rumbled. "The balance is restored." Pip grinned. "We told you we could help." Grit nudged Pip. "Even if we're tiny." Umbren lowered his head. "I misjudged you. Your size is small, but your courage is vast." He nudged them gently with his giant snout. Careful, respectful, grateful. "A new era begins," Umbren said. "I shall return to my slumber beneath the ridge. But know this, little ones, should imbalance return, I will call upon you again." Pip saluted proudly. "We'll be ready." Grit nodded. "Always." Umbren stretched his wings, massive shadows cast across the ridge and sank back into the moon dust, curling into a sleeping shape that blended with the rocks. Soon, only silence remained. Heroes of two worlds. Pip and Grit returned to Linton Hollow as legends, not because they were the biggest, not because they were the strongest, but because they cared, helped, and believed in the value of every dragon, small or massive. Dragons cheered when they landed. Leaf dragons tossed petals. Rock dragons clacked stones to make music. Water dragons bubbled celebratory fountains. That night, under a calm white moon, Pip and Grit curled on their warm rock and watched the sky shimmer gently. "Do you think Umbren is still awake up there?" Pip asked. Grit smiled. "Maybe, but even if he's asleep, he knows we're watching over things too." Pip leaned against his granite friend. "We make a good team." "The best," Grit said warmly. And so, in a quiet meadow lit by the newly balanced moon, two tiny dragons, one leafy, one rocky, rested with full hearts, ready for their next adventure.